it's very difficult to find that.
Yeah, here on the picture you can see that it's taken from this point to right to the direction of the church, and it's a bit hard to see on this picture because there are trees in front, but behind the trees there are a lot of houses, and it would the most logical connection is from here to the church, and it would be really great if you could just go to the church and further to the castle, but it's impossible because of this area.
So yeah, so then we had a little look at the street names, and we discovered that there's this road is actually called Pils Jela, the castle road. So we imagined that that should have been the old road that used to go to the castle. And this road has some, actually in some parts it's really beautiful oak trees next to it. It's a very beautiful street. But at some parts suddenly there's no trees or nothing around it. And we don't have the feeling that we are in the same street. And we have a feeling that, you know, in order to get from the train station to the castle, the whole street should have a similar character, and there should be trees, rows of trees next to this street everywhere, no exception, so that it's really understandable that that's an important road, and that if you follow it, you will get somewhere.
And also in this area, there was no housing on the right side, and to frame a street and to make the street more perceptible for the pedestrians and also for the car drivers, it's quite important to have housing right on the right and on the left side. If it's open, it becomes a bit loose, and it's not anymore the main street, which it was before. So we would suggest to have a higher density next to this street, especially in this area here. And that's also a part of this park area. Here in this area it looks that this part is connected to each other, and you can just walk through.
No, it's only this part which is... It's a little bit strange, this park, because on the map it looks like it's one thing, but when you are there you have, like here you have a park which is fenced and the grass is cut, and there's play things. And here it's wild, and here it's different as well. And it's okay to have some differences, but at the moment there's no path which goes all the way through, and it seems not to be connected. It doesn't look like it's one thing, and we think that it would be good for the town to have this as one sort of place, which then will become stronger as well, and it will help the people to know where they are.
And for this green structure, it's almost the same as for the street, but it's also more used from the inhabitants which are living next to it when there is more housing and it's a clearer edge to it, because at the moment they are not using it anymore. It's just for taking grass and feeding to the animals.
Not really. Almost.
Yeah, so to come closer to the valley, we also thought that frame this whole center here in this area, it would be nice to have a path which is going around the old center, and from this path it should be possible to have in many points the connection to the valley. And in this area it's already existing, but here it's still missing, and it would be really good for the city to have this frame and either the connection to the other side of the valley.
And of course, like the group before said, that we wanted to improve the situations of the view over the valley. So I only discovered one place where I can see this river, and this is somewhere, I think this point here, the top station of the...
Tarzan.
But there is I was standing next to a building, and every time the people came came up. So, and it was not very romantic. So, but I come to this later. So this is the only point where I can see the view here. So the city won this romantic title, and So it needs more places where I can see the river, and this is really important. So we had the same idea like the other group to cut some trees here, but I will tell you that later on. Yeah. So the development of the city goes in 3 directions that are all in one group. So the romantic, what I was beginning now, also the cultural, and next the sports with the bob and the skiing, winter sports, and so on. And now this connection between these 3 aims can only get better when the quality of the recreation infrastructure will be increased. So the recreation infrastructure that comes with sports and culture and romantic is not at the level that it could be wished. Next. Yeah, and here you see this place next to the, well, this is one of the viewpoints here, and this is really a good example of in a kind mismanagement of some rest places. From here, or from the benches that are located here, where people sit down, they cannot see the river. They only can see the other side of the valley. And if you want to have the best overview, you have to go further and stand in the mud. So
maybe not the mud, but on the corner.
Yeah, but even there was no grass anymore because people go over. Next one. Yeah, and here we have some negative other things, which is now meant for the path that leads through the valley, not on top but down in the valley. So this first thing is that it's not very easy to access the valley because you have to search for the way down or up. The pathways are not in a good condition, and even the litter and dirt that the other groups already mentioned. So of course the viewpoints when you are in the ground to look to have a closer look to the river, like Paul said before, and yeah, and people always need resting places and a lot of benches. So next one. Yeah, how to improve this situation that we found here. It's a little bit far away now. So maybe you can take the next picture, and I try to show you here. We don't need to invent something really new, because the infrastructure itself is already here. We have some benches, little but some. We have the paths, and we also have some places. For example, this one is showed in the map. It's on the other side of the valley, and also I think. Also this one is already showed in the map, but when we were there, in front of us there were only trees. So what we think is that the low benches and the shrubs near to the river, this means like here or like here, must be cut, that you can see through and see the river. And also some trees must be cut next to the path we went. So next to the path, some trees must be cut, that you have a better view over the whole area here, and that you don't feel lost in wilderness. Maybe not everywhere to keep the romantic, but maybe some people have a problem with too much wilderness. Yeah, and the tracks itself, they must be renewed in a way. For example, the wooden steps are sometimes broken, or the path is too narrow, it must be more wider. And also it's not that hard to use stones or pavement on the ground instead of walking through mud like we did. And it's really important to have handrails that everyone can hold and has a feeling of safety in every part of the slope. And benches to relax in between. For example, if elderly people have come this way maybe, and they want to go up back, and now the situation is not so easy that they can come. This, of course, yes, but this is maybe too too steep. Yes. So we need benches to sit down for some minutes. Yes. Yeah, and all in all, we have a lot of different talking groups there. So we as students, we can handle every different
obstacles.
Yes, thank you. So we can jump over trees and everything, but I think when we think of the three aims, sports, culture and romantic, we have also to think of couples that are walking there that want to sit down and watch over the river and enjoy the sounds of the nature. Or even families that want to have a break, people going with the dog, joggers, cyclists, Nordic walking, or also, of course, promenading elderly people. And one thing that I want to mention is here, this street, there's not a lot of, there are not many cars because there is no real goal there. This street can be used as a street for inliners, for example. Mm-hmm. So in our cities, we need this stuff because inline skating is really common. And
yeah, in Jurmala was also an inline skating track in the park.
Okay.
So and this one maybe could be so. And here, even the inliner can go to the water and have here can have a break here. Mm-hmm. All right, so next one, please. And this is one of the resting places on top, where you can see the river and you can see the other side. And it's really important to develop both sides of the valley. So on the other side, as you know, there is also this resting place where you can make this fire, make the fireplace. And this, in the moment, there are only trees. There are only trees. Even people from here cannot see anything. So cut these trees, and then these people are happy. These people are happy, and maybe say hello to each other. Yeah. So, and this is the only new idea we had. Like the other group also. You don't have to cut all the trees, it's not necessary. Maybe one special place and one special goal would be this would be this bridge, but we decided to stop it here. Just walk through the trees and then stand in front, and here you have the greatest view overall. Is there something else? Yes.
That's we don't want to be so negative, and I hope that it was not too negative our presentation, because in some parts I felt like this, because you have a really nice town here, and because of this we wanted to stop or to end our presentation the panorama view. We cut it because if not it became too small, so it's just going around and it's continuing here. And that's the view through the valley and to the city. And yeah, maybe when we're coming back in 10 years, then we can see some houses here on the top or some viewpoints. And maybe we don't have to climb on the tree to take the picture.
Did you?
Yeah.
Alright.